Unlike the first time of Pan-Africanism, Britain, France, and the United States can't stop it this time. Because Pan-Africanism was stopped from the outside, not from the inside. It was stopped by a bullet in the head of Patrice Lumumba. It was stopped by repeated overthrows by the CIA and MI6. And it cannot happen anymore. They don't have the power, they don't have the space, and Africa can prevent it. Most of the world is reaching the peak or has already reached the peak of their population. So what we have is aging rather than further population growth. China reached its peak population probably 2 years ago on the official estimates and will now experience quite a significant decline of population. China's at 1.4 billion people. By the end of this century, the projection is well below 1 billion. And the actual UN medium forecast is below 800 million. The one region of the world where the population continues to grow rapidly is Africa. Africa's population grew 5 times from 1950 till today. It's 1.5 billion. According to the medium forecast of the UN, Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion at mid-century and about 3.7 billion in 2100. And in percentage terms, this means Africa's population was 9% of the world population in 1950. Today, it's 19%. 1 out of every 5 people on the planet is African. And by 2050, it will be about 25% of the world population. And by 2100, 35% of the world population. So Africa will be in the center of the world story, the world history, the world population, the world demographics in the course of this century. Now, what does all of this mean for Africa? I believe, not that it is inevitable, but I believe that it is feasible and the right target for Africa essentially to follow the path that China followed between 1980 and 2020, of in a process of 40 years going from low income to high income, going from quite widespread continuing poverty, especially in rural areas, to zero poverty during this period. And because of the demographic changes as well, becoming a powerhouse of the world economy. And that is what I think should be envisioned, should be planned for, and should be accomplished. China used its advantages of planning, foresight, visioning, and even what we call relative lag. It's poverty, meaning a lot of catching up room, and technological innovation to achieve 10% per year economic growth over a 40-year period. There's the rule of 70, which many of you will know. If you want to know how much a growth process, how long it takes for something to double, take the growth rate and divide 70 by that growth rate. So if you're growing at 10% per year, divide 70 by 10, and that means every 7 years the economy doubles in size. China achieved that kind of doubling over a 40-year period. So think about it. Every 7 years you double in size. If you do that for 35 years, that's 5 doublings. 2 to the 5th power. 32-time increase of the economy in China. 32 times in 35 years. And because this continued even beyond 35 years, it's been about a 40-time increase of output of China, which is why China became the world's largest economy during this 40-year period. My analysis and recommendation is that Africa chart out such an ambitious trajectory. because Africa's time has come and its turn has come. China achieved rapid growth for 40 years. The other country of comparable size, India, has been growing at about 7% per year since the year 2000. Again, applying the same rule of 70, that means doubling every 10 years. And India has become, during this 25-year period, the third largest economy in the world. And its poverty is now below 5%. Remember India having poverty everywhere? Its extreme poverty rate is now below 5%. So my view is Africa is next. You're the next region of 1.5 billion people. But it takes some change of perspective and some new strategy. The change of perspective, first of all, is that this has to happen at a continent-wide scale. Africa was left after the imperialist age with 54 countries and a 55th one in dispute. The transformation that I'm talking about cannot happen 54 separate times. It should be an Africa-wide success because scale matters in economics. China and India were able to grow so fast because of a large economy and a large market that supported a lot of innovation and supported a single strategy that was coherent to build out a power system, to build out a fast rail system, to build out a highway system, to build out a 5G digital system. And Africa, I want to act like the Union, like a continental free trade area that is investing at the African scale to accomplish the same. And that, I think, is the key first step to being able to replicate this rapid catching up plus leapfrogging process. In order to do that, first, think like a union, partner with universities across the continent to help engender this kind of Africa-wide ambition and strategy and know-how to get this done. Champion union, true African union, true Pan-Africanism to be able to accomplish this. And unlike the first time of Pan-Africanism, Britain, France, and the United States can't stop it this time. Because Pan-Africanism was stopped from the outside, not from the inside. It was stopped by a bullet in the head of Patrice Lumumba. It was stopped by repeated overthrows by the CIA and MI6. And it cannot happen anymore. They don't have the power, they don't have the space, and Africa can prevent it. And so we can really have an Africa-wide strategy. And that means building out the infrastructure, the hard infrastructure of rail, of digital, of shipping, coastal shipping, and I could say the soft infrastructure of a continental-wide university excellence to put science and technology in the forefront, because this will require a lot of innovation and a lot of homegrown skills all over the continent. So we need this Africa-wide investment program that invests first in the young people. This vast population increase is so promising if you invest in the skills of the young people. Keep the mindset, no child should be without at least a high school education, upper secondary minimum, everywhere, quality. No child should be at school without a laptop. Really. You need this for today's world. They're not expensive. They can be part of an education budget. Everybody needs digital access. We're all going to have our AI tutors online, helping us through difficult problem sets and so forth. You need to use the leapfrog technologies. So investing in the skills is critical. And then, of course, that means all of the rest of the infrastructure that supports this. This, I think, is what the great opportunity is. I think that this is what we really mean by the change of the world order. I believe that by 2050, Africa will be a high-income region. It will be a successful and growing region. It will be a region of peace, and it will be looked to throughout the world for partnership and for innovative solutions. Thank you very much.